And we'll be ending each show featuring a different local DJ or electronic music artist. And today I'm joined with Joe Contreras.
Hey, how's it going?
And you also go by the artist name Trankwil Step, correct?
That's what my Instagram handle is.
Oh,
It's
okay.
tranquil_step. I just go by Trankwil, Trankwil.
All right. And how did you come to that name?
I don't know, I think I was joking around with a friend of mine that I had met on the festival circuit, and she was visiting me here, and we were just talking, like, really trying to talk about music, and it's like, oh, what would you call this song? It was like, oh, it's just like Tranquil Step or something like that, and we kind of just laughed about it, and so I just kind of made it my Instagram name, and then, yeah, also just made it my DJ name, so I was like, all right, time for something different. I used to go for something a little more intense. Like I was in the rave scene, I did electro house, so much harder, different style music, and I was going under a different name because I was in a metal band. It was called It Involves Murder. I took the name Joe Murda as just like kind of like hip hoppy electro name, and so I was like, well, this is going to be a whole different variety of music that I'm going to be making with this new style. So I think I just wanted to give it something that was just a little more fitting, and almost kind of like trick you into thinking it's going to be really, really mellow, but in all reality, it's going to hit you really hard in the face with bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe your sound?
Well, I've always had this thing where I feel like I always went into something trying to make one style of music, and then I like will really look back at the catalog of stuff I've written for like 10 songs later, and it's like, oh wow, I feel like I never really accomplished what I went to do, but I've got all these great songs afterwards. They're not necessarily like the style or anything that I went in for it, but like right now it's like glitch hop and I don't know, this stuff that's like real squishy and like at 80 beats per minute. It's not really trap, but it's like almost like halftime drum and bassy, a little more sluggish. Yeah, I like to kind of go bounce between like those newer hybrids of trap and halftime drum and bass, and also I just love glitch hop. So I go back and forth between a few different genres.
I know. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like the blend.
yeah.
Why did you get into music to begin with?
Well, I got into music in high school. Played bass guitar and just regular guitar, and then eventually I got into a metal band playing lead guitar for metal, and so I loved that stuff. But then I had such a great connection with my friends doing it, and it's like I look at it now, and you really see all these DJs come up and stuff, and producers come up. But it's like when I was in high school, it was just people being in bands. So like everyone was in a band. Didn't matter if you sucked or not or what you did. You were in a band because that's what you did with your friends. And now it's like, oh, you like electronic music, you're going to try to make it. It's like that whole different wave of it. That's why there's so many producers, so many DJs and everything trying, because it's just like the new thing. And the reason I got into it is because I had a great connection with my friends. One of them passed away, and it's very, very hard to get into another band that you have like such a great connection of people with. So when I found electronic music, I found I could do it all by myself, and I was still getting that same, like, I guess, like a high off of making music. So I stuck with it, and I tried some other bands, and the connection wasn't there, so it just made me feel like I had to get out and do my own thing. And it was really, really hard for me to kind of grasp that being your own, just like entity as a music entity rather than being in a group, because you have no one to bounce ideas off of, but at the same time you have full total control. Yeah.
What do you get out of it from your music?
Honestly, I think like I'm not always like the most organized person, but in like the realm of making music, I can be incredibly organized, and then like everything's in its place. It's like I can try to be a perfectionist within that, and it's just like open canvas. Like when people talk, I was just watching a Bob Ross video, and he's like, oh, there are no accidents or whatever, or like there's nothing wrong. It's just like happy mistakes and stuff like that. It's totally like that, but the whole thing is, it's like I did it, I made it. Until I'm happy with it, it's not set in stone. So it's really, really cool doing that. I feel like it's meditative at some points too. If I wasn't doing this, I would probably just be stuck in this chair watching like YouTube videos or something like that, rather than like doing something a little bit more productive and something that I can play out to people and they can like really enjoy it. That's always been the fun part, is like you get on a big sound system and you get to play your track. No one in the crowd's probably gonna know it's your track, but like if you see them keep moving or they start moving even more, then it's just like, oh crap, I guess I am doing it right. Cool. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that when you get to share it, right?
Definitely, and that's like, it's not even like, hey, this is my new track, let me get on the microphone. It's like I said, it's all about you play the track, and then right when you play it, you kind of get into it, and then you look around and you're like, all right, are other people getting into it? And you're like, oh wow, people really like this part of the song, or they like this song I didn't even know. I just played it because it's my song. Can be a little nerve-wracking sometimes. I found myself doing that, where it's like I have all this new material, and then it's like I really want to do well, and then I'll totally opt out of playing some of my stuff and play like a set of awesome songs, whatever, but they're not mine. And then I've, tried to throw them in there, thinking like, okay, we'll see how it goes, and then I'll drop like maybe one of my tracks, and sure enough, it's funny. It'll bring some people in because like what, it's really bass heavy or something like that, or no one else is playing glitch hop or something like. So it's pretty fun to see that happen.
Especially on your own stuff, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I last year, I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, but I got to play at one of my favorite clubs. It was in the side room. Someone dropped out, and it wasn't like the biggest show or anything. And I got to play, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try some of my tracks out here because this is like where I really started appreciating this style of music. It's a place in Oakland called Wormhole. It's at the New Parish every Wednesday, and it's amazing. It's like for me, it's the hub of the style of music that I love to listen to, and then the style of music that I go and see at festivals. So it's like this weird little meetup spot of just awesome people and great music. And I got to play in the side room one day because it was just a pretty mellow night, and actually turned out that one of the headliners that was going to come, they canceled, so they got this guy named Boats, which was, I loved that guy. So I was super pumped to see him on the main stage. But yeah, I played some of my glitch hop tracks, and glitch hop doesn't get played there all the time. And I was playing in the side room. People came in, sure enough, when I started playing one of my tracks. So I thought that was really cool, especially just because it's like I had wanted to play there so badly. I haven't played there since, but I hope to play there again. We'll eventually get back there.
Yeah, definitely. What do you hope that people get from your music when they come to your show or listen to it?
I don't put a lot of like lyrics in my music or vocals in it. I mean, I have like a microphone. I record some stuff. I really like to just record sounds and then put them in the music somehow. So weird things like one of those wooden block frogs and stuff like that. But I mean, I like to make an experience where it's a little more psychedelic, I guess, where in the sense where it's like there's a lot of fun sounds happening, but there's still there's still a musical element happening, even though it's like a type of electronic music, especially with like the glitchy stuff. Sometimes it's extremely out there and it's almost like not musical anymore. It's like it's a barrage of sounds, and it's very, very harsh, and it's fun to kind of bring that down a bit and then bring the musical aspect back into it. Bring a little bit of actual music theory into some of these really crazy sounds that are usually are styles of music that are meant to be a little more linear, I guess, in the sense where it's like there's not like a lot of instrumentation going on, or if it is, it's very bounced around, but it's more of a straight sound, more about the frequency ranges and stuff like that than it is about like the music being put together. And so some of the songs I play are that style, like it's like, oh, this is really in your face. This is like to dance to. But I have some more mellow tracks that I was like, oh, I really love this because it's got this great piano vibe in it with a nice sub behind it, or just nice instrumentation that's a little different. I'd like people to like go away listening to that, and then just kind of rethinking some stuff. It's like, okay, we don't need all this like vocal stuff in the background if it's not important, muddying up the music experience that's coming through. That's kind of one thing that music I enjoy has a lot of like rap vocals and hip hop stuff in it too, and doesn't ever really mean much of it. And I always think like, well, this stuff's great on its own. It doesn't really need this element to it. I see where it helps, but I like kind of just doing straight music. So, when you come to my show, it's going to be pretty much straight music. If it's an original live set where it's all my tracks, then yeah, it'll just be like that.
What's your approach to balancing how you're incorporating your own sounds and your own stuff you record with the electronic production?
Yeah, that's always been one thing. It's like, because you get caught up in the music you like, and for me, I'll listen to music that I don't write particularly all the time, and I was like, oh, it'll bleed into what I'm doing, and it's like, oh, it's just like totally different styles going into it. So like, I'll have some glitch hop tracks that I feel have a really trappy vibe because I've been listening to trap for like a year or something like that, and I really hadn't switched back to glitch hop like as far as stuff in my car, because that's where I listen to like the majority of my music that's not that isn't my own. Because it's like I'll usually get the music, put it on a flash drive, get in my car and drive everywhere. If I'm here at home, I'm usually listening to stuff that I'm writing, so it's that's like my getaway from there. But yeah, It's interesting because I just like I'll listen to all this stuff in the car, and then like I said, it just starts bleeding into the other tracks, no matter what style of music it is. And I'll start tracks here, and it's like if there's just a straight vibe or style that's happening, I'll just go with it, roll with it, and finish the song. It doesn't really matter if it was a song I was trying to make. I like finishing songs. That's always a good pat on the back for anybody.
Seeing it through to completion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have like right now 9 tracks. There's 8 tracks that I'm working on, trying to get done. I don't know when they're gonna all come out and stuff, but it's like they're there. And sometimes it's like I said, it can be meditative, and it's like, oh well, I'm in a rut somewhere else in my life. I'm gonna go and work on this song, and maybe if I get enough work on it, I'll just feel better. That'll be cool. So maybe I'll do that like if I'm bored or in a bad mood, try to work on a track I haven't finished.
So it's also your music therapy.
Yeah, a little bit. So that's pretty awesome.
That's cool. What do you think of the local music scene slash particularly, the dance scene, rave scene?
Out here in San Luis Obispo, this county's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. When I first moved here, I would say it's going on 5 years ago. I got invited in with like open arms. There's a guy named Travesty. He's an awesome DJ. He's part of Bring the Vibe, a crew that I DJ for and work for, and he needed a ride home, and I offered him one. I really didn't know anybody here. I came here to work as a body piercer, and so I didn't know anybody except for the guy that got me the job there. I went to a show, some dubstep show, and gave him a ride home. And after that, like I started playing Renegades out here, and that was like the bigger thing, was always playing a Renegade party that just kind of popped off, like a couple hours notice, and then now it's like club scene a little bit, but it's not too big here. As far as like the EDM stuff goes, it's got to be like something over the top all the time. There's not just a club that we can go to and really be there like on a weekly or monthly level. I mean, we'll Bring the Vibe. We do some stuff on the monthly, but venues change all the time. There's never a for sure set in stone venue that's got great sound to begin with. So I mean, like the scene's fun. We're trying to do some stuff. It's not really bringing in a lot of the headlining stuff. Until we really want to pay for something for them to come out, just because I feel like there's not like the biggest unity between a lot of like the college crowd and then like the people who actually live here. So I think if those two things kind of came together, the scene could be really, really big. Because whenever the college kids are here, there's like 4 years or 2 years that they're here, and they could really start something, and sometimes they do, and it just kind of fades out, which kind of sucks. It'd be nice if they came in on like the people that actually live here and maybe add it onto something that's a little bit more long-standing. Maybe they're not going to be here in 2 years, but some of the people that are in the crew, like a couple crews out here, they might be. So kind of be nice to join forces and stuff like that. But it's a great scene. People are really, really awesome. Parties on the beach are great, and when we get the chance. But yeah, that's like very, very big. As far as like the genres that are getting played, there's lots of house, some really, really dark minimal techno. Myself, I like to do the bass music. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I love it. I would like to see a lot more of like maybe some stuff like a Samba Loca. I'd like to see some of their stuff in some digital tracks. I would like to see like, or what are their name? Captain Nasty. I would love to hear a glitch hop Captain Nasty track. Like that's like where I would think would be really cool for the scene to go one step further, is getting some of the musicians in and then getting maybe together with some other people who have some equipment and getting like collaboration thing going on. That'd be really great.
That. That's a great idea. What gets you excited about the local music scene?
With the talent, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, I grew up in a place where it was like there were bars and all the time. When I turned 21, I'm 30 now, but when I turned 21, I checked out all the bars, and they would always have live music, and the bands were like always classic rock and stuff like that. And sometimes you'd be like, wow, that's cool, but it was never their own stuff. Out here, I've found they're like when you go out there, people are actually like pushing their own music, and it's like it's cool. I love hearing new stuff and just talented people. Like when you really see them push it out, you know what I'm saying? They're not just like, oh, I'm singing someone else's song or whatever. They could even be singing someone else's song, but they like push it out so hard that it's like, oh, that could be yours. You just owned it, like that. Like it's really, really cool seeing a lot of the local talent. Because you can see it everywhere. You see it at the beaches, like someone just playing guitar, and you're like, whoa, what the hell, are you playing shows? Like, no, you're just singing out of your bedroom. That's cool. You should come to the beach more so I can hear you sing, stuff like that. Hey, there's a lot of talent, though. The thing is, it's just like not as much of a guiding force where we're like, hey, let's get you on a stage or something, It's a little different as far as getting recognized out here.
Yeah, That's why we're doing this show. Hopefully, I
Exactly.
want to contribute to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much local talent, and yeah, it's great to showcase it for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely what drew me to the area too, and kept me here, coming out from Michigan a decade ago. That the all across country, this is the place that by far has the most music and the most venues all crammed into one little place.
Yeah, it's a tiny little tiny cool place here for sure. And the people that like decide to stay here, like I really, really dig it, man. I've loved the tribe that I've totally put together, like not put together, but I've become a part of, because it just people let you in and stuff like that. And if you're just good people, people can tell out here, like I feel like most people have come from other places where it's just like there's a lot of BS and people trying to get ahead of you or just like talking smack or whatever. They're just like, not just straight up and forward with you. Out here, people are like, okay, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and you let us down, then it's just kind of done from there. Show yourself, show your true colors. That's what I've seen out here.
Yeah, yeah, totally feel that. What would you say to other people coming up in the music scene or as producers?
Well, I've noticed that I've had a lot of fun as far as producing. It's great to do this whole thing, but like I was saying before, it's hard to get connect with people on like being in a band level. But it is fun to collaborate with people. If you have another friend that's really good at music production, or they're just better than you, or something like that, you're better than them, whatever. Um, Link up with somebody else and make a song. Like it's really it's awesome. It's a little bit of cross promotion. If they've got more followers or friends than you or whatever, they're gonna hear the song and you've never been heard. Um, and just for the straight fact of like the knowledge that you're gonna get from it, like you can. I had Joseph Fami over here the other week before a show, and we worked on a song, and we put together a song that would normally take me like probably like 5 days or something like that with the amount of work that we were doing. And we put it together in one night in like 5 hours, 6 hours, and then I worked on it the next day, and it was like boom, it's awesome. It was great. I still want him to come back over so we can finalize it, but I learned so much from him, and then I passed on some tricks to him because it's like we're both in our own world doing our own thing in music, but then you come to someone else's house or whatever, and you don't have all your own stuff, or you join your things together, and then like whenever you would normally get tired or something like that, you're like, all right, you tag in, and you let them on the computer or whatever, and that way the workflow is like no one's getting too exhausted and then just like lagging on the computer. That's how we got so much work done. That was great. Yeah, I would say work with other people. It's always cool to do that, or record your friends. If you have a microphone, like when I got my microphone, that's the first thing I did. I recorded my friends who were really good at guitar. It's like, hey, come over, let's just record you, and I'm gonna try to make you sound good because I want to learn how to make people sound good. And he got some great takes out of it, so awesome. And I got to learn some cool miking tricks or how to mic a guitar properly. So that was awesome. Yeah, work with other people. That's the best way to go. In such a hermit community of bedroom producers, you go out and meet somebody.
That's awesome. I definitely would love to get down on some tracks with you too someday.
Yeah,
That'd be
totally,
awesome.
man. I'm always open to do that. Like I saw this guy playing over here in Morro Bay and in downtown SLO. He plays saxophone and he like sometimes walks around with a drum and he'll do the drum and the saxophone and he kills it. And I was like, dude, this guy could be opening up for freaking Beats Antique or something if he just had like enough tracks and like a dope beat behind it. It was like it's crazy. I meant to like go and get his number or ask him if he's homeless or what and try to get him on a track, but I always miss him though. It's like I'm at work or something like that, or I'm driving by on the road. But yeah, so I'm at Vaughn's and I really wanted to get his number, and I finally went back after I dropped my friend off. He wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy what you'll find around this town.
Yeah,
It's funny.
seriously.
Some musicians everywhere.
And yeah, even like as far as like people who travel, I've seen lots of like buskers come through here too, which is random because like I feel like the actual crowd of people, the bulk of people that are in downtown SLO really don't appreciate it. It's like I feel like it's not as culturally like
For those listeners that don't know, what's busking?
busking is playing for money, is playing music on the streets for money. And there are some people come out with banjos, mandolins, and stuff like that. I've had some gypsy friends come through from Louisiana, and they're like, well, where can I go busk? Instantly, and I was like, this isn't really a good busking town. You can though. It just depends on how popular like a farmer's market is, and where you're at and what style of music you're playing or whatever. But generally, I feel like busking's not the greatest here. Yeah, that's like, but I've seen a few come through, and then they're just like kind of baffled by it because like it's such an interesting area. Like the San Luis Obispo is very, what is it, conservative kind of face, but then you have like this crazy hippie like psychedelic freaking culture in the background. And it's like no one talks about it. It's like, oh yeah, they're over there by the beach, or they're hanging out at Pirates or something, whatever. But yeah, it's fun. It's still a fun town though.
Yeah, the street performing is definitely can be an adventure around here. That's another topic I want to cover in a future show. So
Yeah.
it'd be cool to get your input. Can you give us any like a foreshadowing or any stuff about what you're
Well,
coming out soon?
I got a few songs coming up that I want to put out as a little EP. As far as like things with Bring the Vibe, I'm trying to push the people in Bring the Vibe because we got some great DJs there, and some of them want to start producing music. And I was like, dude, we've got like two producers already on the crew, which is like me and my friend Travesty, who we've just been working on some stuff for the past 3 years, just like on and off, just for fun. Maybe put out like 3 songs or something like that.
And so you guys in Bring the Rave or Bring the Vibe, you put on the shows. Right?
Correct. Like so, that's run by Taylor Kirkland and Jenny. They own like the sound system, the CDJs and stuff like that, and they do the booking. So it's like they're the heart of that whole thing, man. They put it all together. As far as like DJs, you have let's see, Lana's on there, Ro and myself, Travis, and the thing that we have in the future that we want to do is like we want to do a little bit of a mix series. So I'll put out a couple mixes real soon. So that's gonna be coming out soon on a Bring the Vibe SoundCloud. I do want to get everyone in on a compilation, just because like I told you, get out and meet people and produce music. Doesn't matter how good they are. Even if you have a friend that doesn't necessarily know how to work music, if they have a good ear for music, like get them involved and they'll probably give you great ideas. So I want to do something like that with Bring the Vibe, and maybe make like a cool 6-song sampler, because I mean, one of our guys, Ro, he's got the craziest studio going on at his house, and it's like he doesn't record music, he just makes it live, and it's just ridiculous. All these machines hooked up, and every time I go over, it's set up differently. I was like, dude, we need to record you, or record this, or anything, whatever. There's just too much equipment here. Then he only plays live, and he loves it, whatever. But I would love to make a song with all his equipment and him, and yeah, I think that'd be really, really awesome. That's like the next stuff, aside from like my own personal EP that I want to put out. It's gonna be a little more on the softer side, kind of jazzy, but still have like this really like neuro, like heavy sound. It's gonna be fun.
Where can people go to find your music and stuff from Bringing the Vibe?
You can well, as far as myself, you can follow me on Instagram, which is gonna be Trankwil_step, and that's TRANKWIL_step. And you can also follow me on SoundCloud under the same thing, not Step, but just Trankwil. I give away all my music for free. Until something cool happens and I can sell my music, I think. But right now I give away all my music for free. Same thing, you can find me on, like I said, Instagram, SoundCloud, Facebook, and Facebook's the real spot to keep in touch with Bring the Vibe. We have a Instagram. I don't do the Instagram on for Bring the Vibe, so I'm not even sure what it is, if it's Bring the Vibe events or what. But if you look it up, it'll be easy to find. It's got a BTV for the logo. But yeah, I got that going on. This mix is actually really, really cool that I put out for you guys. It's the first all originals mix that I've ever put out, period. So I'm really stoked on it. I'm usually a little kind of like apprehensive to put my own tracks in some of my mixes that I put out, just because like I've been making music for like 10 years now, and I'm still nervous about putting my music out, But this is really fun. I've put, for the past 2 years, not all the tracks that I made, but all the ones that flowed for this particular mix. I'm really stoked on it. So that's coming out. I hope people really like this mix.
Yeah, totally. I'm excited to get it.
Yeah.
What do you want to send off the listeners with about music, about Trankwil?
Well, let's see. I'm here, man. So if you ever see me on a flyer or something like that, come out, check it out. I'd love to hear people's input on this mix, because I don't always do all originals. I always DJ, and I kind of like to bring the party for sure. If you've ever seen me, most of the time it's really high energy. This one I actually kind of pulled back, which I don't know if I'd really say pulled back. You'll listen to it, it's pretty intense still. But, it's going to be fun. Yeah, just follow me on Instagram. I also do a lot of artwork as well, digital artwork, and just I like to do photography. So, I mean, in all angles, I like to make things that will that inspire people. Period. Like if you see a piece of artwork and it makes you feel a certain type of way, like great. I love doing anything like that. Yeah, I mean, just go out there, do some music. Definitely keep learning how to play music. That's always great. And then come catch Bring the Vibe shows, even if I'm not there. They're really good.
All right. Well, Joe Contreras, aka Trankwil, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I really love getting a chance to share your music and get it out there.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and one thing. I do produce house music as well and techno. It's a different project. It's on SoundCloud and Facebook. Just look up soundcloud.com/JMWC. And that's all like my new house music and stuff like that, which I got like 3 tracks in the works for the next EP for the house music stuff.
So SoundCloud and what else?
JMWC.
JMWC.
Yeah, it's a little throwback to my old name, which was Joe Murda West Coast, just kind of like a jokey thing when I first got into the EDM scene. But JMWC is just keep it at that. It's a lot easier to say.
Right on. Definitely, listeners, check that out and keep grooving to all the new tunes that keep coming out of the era.
Yeah, support your local DJs, man.
Thanks a lot, Joe Contreras.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We can go eat dinner now.
What you do makes a difference.